Christian parenting. Hi, welcome back, Niro. How's it going?
Thank you. So happy to see your face.
We're about to head into the seasons, and some of us are already heading towards Thanksgiving. So we're like, okay, get our minds straight. And when you and I are friends, but when you sent this book to me, I was like, okay, we really do need this pep talk because I don't care how many pep talks you get, like you go into the holidays and you get crazy so fast. So are
So
you like
fast.
us? I know you're more of a
Yes.
professional
No, no, no,
psychologist, but
no.
you freak out too?
No.
Tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I'm very open about that in the book too, that I'm also, yes, I have this professional knowledge, but I'm a mom with 4 kids that has a job.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, how put together can you really be, if you're in all of those areas? But yeah, and this season is crazier than ever because I'm promoting a book through the holidays.
Yeah,
Like, I
whose idea
needed
was
something
this?
else to do during the holidays. So I was like, who thought about this? Did I?
Yeah.
But I think part of it, Courtney, is just we're all just running at maximum bandwidth all year
Yeah,
round.
yeah.
And then we take on the holidays and the expectations we have that we want it to be beautiful
That's right.
for us, for the people we love. And all of it together can be a lot at once. And the
Yeah,
season goes so fast, it's
that's
short,
right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to me, my mom is, let me think of her age, 74, just turned
Mm.
74, and we always rotate. So we do Christmas with them and then Thanksgiving, and then we rotate. So it'd be every other year we would be with my family for Christmas. And so 2 years ago, she was so frantic and she was trying to make it special for all 7 grandkids, and she was trying to cook for everybody, and we probably didn't help enough, and she was very exasperated. And my dad pulled us aside and said, "If you could give your mother any gift the next time we do Christmas, can we just go somewhere so she doesn't have to cook one thing
Mm.
and we don't do gifts?" And so that's what we're doing this year. We're going on a ski
Amazing.
trip together, but we told all the kids, no gifts. Actually, we're doing an exchange. So you only get $50 as a limit. You get one person in the family. And
Right.
then Lars and I are doing the stockings, but I'm so excited for her. And I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. I'm like 20 years into parenting. She's like
Yeah.
50 years into parenting. It's like,
I
I need to
know.
tap out. But is that like, tell us, let's get to the underlying motivation. It's not
Mhm.
bad. Like, we want it to be magical and we want our kids to feel special. And we want to, like, for me, I'm a doer. I want to do every single thing. I want to do
Mhm.
Nutcracker and raquettes and hot cocoa and all the things. So what for you is the underlying, or what do you see in moms as kind of how does the pressure even begin? Is it internal? Is it external?
I do think it's internal. And also think about the fact that we accumulate traditions every year,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So we are adding to it every year as we hear about the new thing that people are doing. Then we want to try and incorporate some of that. And then social media adds a lot of pressure too. We're seeing a lot of things. We're seeing beautiful things that beautiful people do. And we
Yeah.
think, oh, my family might like that too. Let me take that on as
Uh,
well.
so
And I
good.
think at the end of it, what I love about what your family decides to do is that you're moving away from doing and stepping into being. And with that, yes, your mom is going to enjoy it, but all of you are going to enjoy it differently because you're going to have your mom more present
Present.
with you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to be able to see her enjoy it. Those
Yeah.
emotions she feels are going to affect all of you.
So
And
true.
so all of you may experiencing it in a different way, having mom a
I
little more
know.
zen this
It's a little
time.
sad it took us this long to realize that she needed a break. I love that my dad fought for her. So do we need
Good dad.
permission? I think part of me doesn't want to disappoint my kids, and it's like, they need a no. Every now and then you like, have you worded something like that to your kids to say, "I know you wanna do this, this, and this, but we can't as a family," and be okay with that boundary and that no for them?
Absolutely. I mean, I've said that at different times, depending on what's going on in our life. And I wrote about some of the stories in the book. And for many people, the stressors are real. It might be this
Mhm,
year financially is difficult. You may be dealing with illness. You may be going through grief. So
mhm.
that makes it a very different season. And it's okay to say, hey, this season, things might look a little different, but
Yeah,
there's still going to be beautiful moments and we're still going to do things that we all want to do. It just may not look like what last year looked like. And then next year we'll see what worked and what didn't and bring
yeah,
back what really brings joy for all of us. So
yeah.
no, I've said that. And I'll tell you the year that I didn't say it. And I wrote that I tried to do everything. And what ended up happening was we had a tree that was not decorated in my house, one with the lights broken and no ornaments, and one that actually did get up and stayed up till April. And
Yes.
that was that year for me,
Yeah.
and it was one of the years that I was like, "You know what? I didn't even have to take this on in the first place."
That's
And
right.
when I did, it didn't work. It didn't
Yeah.
work, and it was
Yeah.
a constant reminder of, like, I feel like I didn't do enough. I might not be enough, because that's some of the underlying thoughts
Yeah.
that motivate us to keep going too.
Yeah.
So set the limits. No, set
I
the
love
limits.
it.
What is going to enable you to enjoy it, stay loving and compassionate, and not be left at the end of it saying, I'm exhausted and I barely remember a thing, you
Right.
know?
Well, and then like the old love languages, like I've asked my kids, what would be even just they send me a list for 500 gifts. Like, okay, what's the one like that you would be so
Mm.
excited to receive or whatever? And then what's the one tradition? And I asked them one time, like, what traditions do you love about our family? And they're like, I don't know, like the pepper jelly cream cheese. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I do so many things and none of it's resonating. I'm like, only the pepper jelly cheese dip is like, what are you talking about? So I think sometimes we spin our wheels and we make it complex when they're like, we just liked watching Elf in our pajamas. Like, what's
You're
so
so
simple?
right. You're so right. And we create this narrative of what it should be like and what it
Hmm.
should look like. But that is such an important question to ask your family. And I do it every year going into that holiday. Like, what do you really want us to
Hmm.
do this holiday? What are the things that you remember from past and mean the most to you? And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised the answers you get.
Yeah.
And that's where I think focus your efforts on those things,
Yeah. That's
right?
right.
And even if that list is too much, you can say, you know what, we'll do this. And that one we're going to save for next year.
That's right.
We'll try
I
again.
have to confess my meltdown year. There's been many, but the one I
Tell me.
really hit a wall. So let me think. It was 2011. So Larson was 2, I was 5, and this is when so people don't listen if you have kids in the car.
Mm,
This was the year that Elf started taking off, and I hated the Elf. Like, every day, I was like I would forget, and then I would yell at Ron, and we'd throw it across the room, and it was just added this, like, thing, and then Ella came to me and cried, and said, am I not gonna get any presents? What if the elf tells Santa I was mean yesterday? And I was like, we're not doing this. And so back then, not
mm,
everybody had it, but I was like, we're
mhm.
not doing this. Like, it's stressing her out. She thinks she's being watched on. This has nothing to do with
It's
Jesus.
creepy.
Isn't that
No.
weird? Isn't that weird? So now, like, fast forward, we didn't do it for years and years and years. And then Larson, I think, cried in 5th grade and said, everybody has an elf but me. And she knew. I was like, okay, I'll go buy you
Yeah.
an elf. Like, if you want to move it, fine. And that was the year that I really said, I'm switching from their mindset of only getting to giving. And how can Jesus like
Mm,
nudge our family to give? And we did this thing called Light 'em Up Acts, and it was random acts of kindness. And we had so much fun. I don't know, my family got gifts that year, but we went around town and did so many acts of kindness, and it started us on a tradition that really got our heart in the right place. But I watched them be happier because it was like,
mm.
just because the tradition is popular or your parents did it, it's like, is this even helpful for our family? Are their hearts in the right place? So, can you remember a moment of burnout where you're like, that's it, no more? Did you freak out at any
Yeah,
point?
well, just first of all, I love the light 'em up acts, and I've seen you write about that before. I think it's so special, and those are things they're going to remember. And one thing we know about the science of giving, that when you give in that way, we're actually connecting with people. It
Mm,
releases all three classes of neurochemicals that elevate our mood: serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine.
wow.
So they will remember it. I mean, we were wired to give
Wow.
neurobiologically. And when I sit down with my kids and I ask them, what are the things you remember the most? They remember times where we've given like that over the
Yeah.
holidays, where we've met a family or we've bought gifts for a family.
Yeah.
So that's something that I can attest to works, and
Yeah.
it changes the way they see the world and how they will celebrate the holiday into
That's
their
right.
adulthood.
That's right.
But yes, certainly there have been elf burnouts for sure. And I'll just give you now at this point, I've been a parent for 19 years. The elf has not been around that long, but
Yeah.
the kids have categorized our elf as our family got the lazy elf, and our elf only moves every 4 days. And I will always like project it back on them. I'm like, you know what? There was way too much fighting in this house. I think you scared the crap out of the
Yeah,
elf.
yeah, he's
She
gone.
was
Yeah.
not moving, or the house was too messy. She didn't even know where to go, where she would be safe. And that is what has happened with our elf. So it
It's
was
so
probably
funny.
a result of burnout, but she's taken on a life of her own now, and we've accepted it. We've
Well,
accepted
and
that.
ours is now somebody moves it. It could be a once a week. Somebody moves it, and
Yes.
then you have to figure out who did the prank. And so it
Oh, I
could be
love that.
Ron or Larson or
Yeah.
whatever, which is really, really fun. But
I love that.
Okay, so you talk in the book about connection over perfection, which is just
Mm.
so huge for those moms that are wired like me that are like, I want it to be everything. And so, how thinking about going into Thanksgiving and Christmas, because we set our just mindset on the goal is
Mhm.
connection.
Yeah, for me, I realized I was running through the season not connecting with anybody, including Jesus,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah. That
whose
guy.
birthday is it that we're celebrating here? So there had to be a change. And I used to
Mhm.
be a big holiday party giver. I love doing the big party. And then I realized at the end of it, I was tired. I didn't
Mm.
enjoy just spending 2 minutes with each person there. And I think as you get older too, I don't know, I've lost some of that desire to be with so many people at once,
Correct.
right? I just am like, please don't invite me to things. I'm not offended at all,
Actually, invite me, but I'm not coming.
but I'm not coming. Yeah. No, I'm even one step past that. Not even offended. Don't invite me. So instead, now I plan smaller things. I'll plan to go out to dinner with a couple friends or meet for coffee or do a winter walk with a friend.
Love
And then,
that.
of course, make the time for the movie nights with my kids. And maybe my husband and I will go out to dinner one time during the holiday, just the two of us. So I've really tried to practice that connection over perfection. And I feel so much more filled at the end of it. And then, of course, I do make a little time in the mornings every day. And I talk about this about how we need these micro moments of joy for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is, I do a quiet time in the mornings over Christmas, but it feels a little different because I do it by my tree. I have a candle.
Yes.
I really take time to actually drink my coffee and not microwave it 10 times in the morning like I normally do. And that 10 minutes I look forward to during the whole season. And there's something about being by the lights that make it feel really magical and joyous. And then I find something holiday spiritual to read.
Love it.
That's been my joy ritual throughout the season.
Tell me about the book, but as I was thinking about your book, I thought this would be a great audio. Did you do record the audiobook or is that available?
And
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
as you're
it
driving to
is.
Thanksgiving, like AirPods in, tune them
Family
out,
drama.
and
Here
get
it
your
is.
heart right. So tell us about it.
Yeah, no. So I wrote it. Part of it is because it came out of a talk I did 8 years ago on finding contentment during the season, because
Mhm,
it's a hard season to feel content. There's a lot of discontent, there's a lot of stress. And my
mhm,
first book came out of that talk. And then my editor said,
mhm.
"Hey, you wrote this about the holidays, didn't you? That first talk?
Yeah.
Why don't we create a book around it?" And I thought about that carefully because I thought, does anyone need a book to read during the holidays when they have no time for anything? So the
Right.
audiobook is great, right?
Yeah.
But it's written in 31 chapters, and that was
Mm,
intentional. And that is, they're short chapters that take about 5 minutes to read. There's some reflection prompts at the end of every chapter. But it's really for me to talk people through the entire season for a month to help them find
mhm.
that perspective and the peace and the calm that they need in little short bursts every day that will carry them through the season. And I cover
Love it.
pretty much everything I've seen in practice and in life during the holidays, from Thanksgiving to New Year's Day. Anything that you may deal with or someone might be facing during the holidays, from stress to just finding perspective, and a lot of funny holiday stories in there too. So
I love it.
hopefully, collectively, cumulatively, it will make people feel calm, or at least calm-ish.
Well,
That's
and
part of
if
the
you
title.
can do this living in the middle of New York City, I can do this in Colleyville, Texas. So I would be so tempted to walk out of my house and just run over to the Rockettes. So do you participate? What's a fun tradition that you do in the city?
Well, I live in Connecticut, so I'm an hour outside the city. So
Okay. Close
we still
enough.
have the
Close enough.
beautiful fall, but I'm in the city all the time for work. So
Yeah.
we love going to see the tree, of course, and now I'm
Yeah.
I'm at Rock Center a lot because of
Yeah.
the Today Show, so I get to see it all the time. But we do that. There's certain areas in that area that we like. The windows at Saks, of
Yes.
course, we love to see that. It's just fun. New York City at Christmas is so fun. We don't do the ice skating, but they have some really great hot chocolate stands
Yes.
around Rock
Yes.
Center, which are
That
fun.
Ralph Lauren one, right? Ralph's or something like that? Yeah.
Yes, there's like I know what you're talking about. There's a stand out there.
Like I was going to say, what weekend? Is it just all of
Yeah,
December? When's
it's right after Thanksgiving. That weekend is
okay.
the day before Thanksgiving through that weekend, and the week between Christmas and New Year is kind
It's
of
crazy
unbearable.
town. Crazy town.
Yeah, it is, but it's still so magical. Everything's lit up and the buildings are lit up in beautiful ways. So
I
it's
love it.
just fun to be there.
I love it. All right, give us another practical tip. We talked about
Mm,
giving. We talked about just little moments of joy. Anything else you would say to parents that are like, how do I actually stay calm during this?
Yeah, it's funny. I just got off the phone with someone I know, and she's been working through the book, and she's not a parent. She's a single woman in her 40s, and she said in a row, "I am marking up this book all year long because
Oh,
it should be for all year." And she said something to me I never thought about. She said, "What if we approached all year like it was a holiday? Because every day we have is a gift." And I thought,
wow.
where were you when I was writing this
Yeah.
book? Like I needed to put that in
And it.
there. I just loved it, but the part that she said was the I get to reframe. And now I'm sure people have heard this, but especially when you have kids who've left your house and who
Mm,
are in college, you realize how fleeting this season is. So
yeah.
at one point when I was going through that monologue of I have to write cards and I have to send them and I have to run to the post office and I stopped somewhere and I was like, "Oh, no, no. Like, I get to. One,
Yes.
these are problems of privilege, but I get to
Yes.
do all these things.
That's
And
right.
this is not going to be forever where all my kids are in the
Correct.
house with me right now and I'm managing all of these things." And there's a beautiful story in the book that I wrote about when I realized that.
Mm,
And as I was reading it in the audiobook, Courtney, I had to read it 3 times, like, I couldn't get through it without
no.
crying. I couldn't.
It's
So, part of that's perimenopause and my hormones, but I do think that
well, we're both right there. We both have our first at
yeah,
college, and it is an
me
out
too.
of
So
body experience that is, I don't know, really sobering and really special. But I do think this
Yeah.
Christmas, I asked Ella, like, when do you want things to be decorated for Christmas? She's like, when I arrive for Thanksgiving. So I'm like, I am busting out the things. And before, you're
Yes.
right, it would have felt like I have to get the
Yeah.
garland up. And now I'm like so excited to have
Mhm.
it feel special when she walks in the door, which is so, so
I love
fun.
that. Do you,
I
like,
love it.
drop everything when she calls? It doesn't matter what you're
Yes.
doing? Yeah.
Yes, because she doesn't call a ton, and so, I even dropped something and was ignoring Larson, and she's like, "Mom, like, I was talking to you." I'm like, "I'm so sorry. Your sister called."
I do the same thing. Thank you for bringing that to my awareness. I didn't even realize, but I do the same. It doesn't mean
I
where I
know.
am. I'll be late for whatever the next thing
That's right.
is.
That's right.
I
Because you
know.
don't know when it's
So
coming again, so you're like and they're probably like she's probably like, "Give me some money," but you're like, "I want the tea on the date party last night. I need to know all the details," all
all
that
of
kind of
it.
thing.
But
All
yes,
right.
this year, and I'm a big like experience fall and experience Thanksgiving and no Christmas music till after Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I am like midnight at Halloween. I am starting to decorate because my November is so crazy because of the book
yes.
that I want to get it set and ready to go
Yeah, poor
for when they
Thanksgiving
come
gets
home.
like, slighted in
I
my
know.
house. I'm like, "Moving to Christmas, moving to Christmas." Okay,
Yeah.
let me think what else. Let me look at oh, okay, one Christmas, I was trying to think of things that helped me in the past. So, I wrote
Mm,
permission to quit things, which I just love that.
yes,
Like, I love
that's
Bob Goff
good.
talks about quit something every Thursday. And I'm like,
I
what
love
are
that.
things that, like, we just go not no forever, but not no this
Mm,
year? And,
not for now.
um, so I'm gonna circle back to in-laws, but first, one year I did a technology
You
fast,
quitting your
which
in-laws?
no, but I have a question about in-laws. Did not quit my in-laws, but I did a technology fast, which we've talked about over Christmas, and it was so good and so hard. But like I did the whole month of December, and I needed
Mm,
it. But here's the thing, folks: nobody's doing anything in December. I mean, how many people are like, "Hey, circle back after the holidays. Circle back after the
yes,
holidays." It's just like no man's land, and it's a great time to fall off the radar. So that helped me a ton. Be like, if I didn't
that's
have that
great.
option, I'm gonna do a puzzle. If I didn't have that option, I might make the pepper jelly, cream cheese thing.
Yes.
And so that worked for me one year, and I'm thinking about doing it this year if I could do it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And we talked about this on your last episode with dopamine deficit. Quitting that technology because of the way it manipulates our dopamine actually enables you to be more present.
Yes.
It works neurochemically, and I'm sure you experience that.
Yep.
And sometimes what we have to do is behavior replacement. Get a great book like this
Yes.
one and put it in places where you'd normally scroll. I do
Hmm.
think getting the phones out of your room at night and getting a traditional alarm clock is one of those things that gives you hours back in your day and you don't even realize it because we pick up
Yeah.
the phone in the morning and go to it at night when we're bored. We
Yeah.
entertain ourselves with it. So I love that you did that. And I'm trying to move more and more towards that because I know how it affects us neurochemically. And in
Yeah.
order to be more present, we need healthy levels of dopamine, not what we're
Yeah.
used to these days.
Well, if you think back to your childhood, I tried to think back and I'm like, okay, I remember a karaoke machine, loved it,
Hmm.
living for it. But outside of that, my mom would be heartbroken to know there's not a ton of gifts I can think of.
No,
Like, I
same.
remember going on a trip with them. I remember the music playing that mom would put on right before we walked in the room. I remember her
Yep.
cooking bacon. And so just remind us parents that are so freaked out about the exact gifts and how many and are they fair and all that stuff.
I
But
know.
like, could we dial up the experience this year and the presents?
Yeah, we absolutely can. And I think there's a reason we don't remember. And that also is a neurochemical. It's the dopamine. It comes and goes for new things.
Mhm.
But when we, and I wrote about this in the book, when we have experiences together, those
Mhm.
things don't just come and go. They are embedded in our memory and we can recall them. And that's why now many people, especially as their kids get older, go to experiential gifts, experiences,
Yeah.
because that's not just dopamine, that's the oxytocin, what we feel when we're connected to each other. And that also allows for serotonin, which helps us to remember it as
Yeah.
well. So they don't remember. And I was thinking about the same thing. I don't remember all that much in terms of I remember like one
Yeah.
doll I really wanted and the Cabbage
Yeah.
Patch Christmas that we
Yes.
had,
So, yes.
that
Now
one,
you're jogging
but
my memory. That was a good one. That was a good one.
right?
And
But
I think
other
my
than that,
mom
not
had
much.
her friend make me a Cabbage Patch Kid doll and, like, forged the name Xavier Roberts on its butt, and I was like, "I think this is fake, but maybe it's real,"
Oh
and so
my,
years later, she's like,
I
"That's
love
totally
it.
fake."
You got the bootleg, but
I
way
got
to
a
go,
bootleg,
mom,
but I
for
thought
being
it was a
creative.
I
Those
know.
were hard to get. They were
I
really
know.
hard to
I
get.
know, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Forget that. Miss Wilson's gonna make you one today. I can't even wait."
I love Miss Wilson.
Okay, let's talk in-laws, and I love them, and they're listening. So all this to
Yes.
say, like, I think a lot of moms struggle on being all things to all people, and it is the
Mm,
time is so difficult, and I want to be there with my parents, and I want them to have the memories, and ours were the first grandkids, so it was like so talk to the
yeah.
parent about how do you juggle all that? And how can you be honest about like, I guess just being flexible. My in-laws have done a great job at being flexible to say, like, I understand, like even this Thanksgiving, I said, we're supposed to technically be in their world. But I said, this is Ella's first Thanksgiving that she'll be home and she
Mm,
hasn't seen her friends in 4 months. And they were
mhm.
great about it and said, I completely get it. And so I guess encourage the young mom who's starting this tradition of going 900 places. And how can you be a little bit selfish and be a little bit there for your kids to be like, hey, these are the things we're going to do. Is
Yeah,
that terrible?
yeah, and first of all, you have great in-laws.
Yes.
That's a blessing that they understand because not all of them do.
Hmm.
I think one, we have to, and you said it, we think of it as selfish when we're thinking about protecting our energy and asking
Yeah.
ourselves what we want, but we are the emotional barometer for our entire family.
Mm,
So if we prioritize our wellness and what is going to enable us to stay compassionate and loving and even present, that is going to extend to everyone around us, right?
yeah.
There's that saying, like, if mama ain't happy, ain't no one happy, right? That's true. That is true, and especially true during the holidays. So I think one, to think about what can I do in a way where I can stay loving and compassionate?
That's right. Yeah.
And what would take away from my ability to feel
Hmm.
energized and loving and compassionate?
Yeah.
And we just have to start with that honest conversation. A lot of times when we're talking about setting boundaries, because that's exactly what we're talking about now,
Yeah. Yeah.
in other words,
Yeah.
people feel like then they're going to think I don't care or I'm the
Yeah.
jerk or
That's
whatever.
right.
And
Right.
it's quite the opposite. We're actually going to be able to show up better, more
Yeah.
enthusiastic, more loving when we do that. So I think one key to note where we need to set the boundaries is when we think about that question, think about what are those things that at the end of it make me feel resentful,
Yeah.
depleted, exhausted. Those are the areas that necessitate the boundary. And maybe
Yeah.
it's that, all right, yeah, we are going to spend time with this person or this family, but we're not going for 7 days or they're not
Yes. Yeah.
coming for
Yeah.
7 days.
That's right. Yeah.
3 days,
Yeah.
3 days is what we can do this season. And we have to be okay with setting it. Just know the only people who are going to push back on your boundaries are the people who've benefited from you not having them.
So
And
good.
it's going to take a little time for them to get used to it. But as you are consistent and you show up joyfully, like that's your problem, not mine. I'm going to be still happy,
Yeah. Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
here with all
That's right.
myself and all my Christmas spirit. They're
Yeah.
going to get used to it. They will.
Yeah. That's awesome and super helpful. I think, early on those conversations and even now, it's like it changes with the ages of the kids. It changes
Yes.
with just where everybody is in the city. And I've always found like even the dates don't even matter. Like Grammy and Poppy are coming after Christmas for a few days. And I'm like, no, it's not technically the 25th, but we're getting some time with them in the season. And that's what
Right.
matters most because the kids do enjoy that. And I will say, now that Ella's gone and not calling me, I have a new renewed compassion for my mom and Grammy. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we just want to talk to our kid. Like, just call them,
Yeah.
FaceTime them kind
It's
of thing."
so true. It's so true, and now some of those boundaries are set based on my daughter's schedule when she comes
Yeah,
home,
that's
right?
right.
Okay, like, when are you gonna be with your friends? And
That's
I'm
right.
going to work around some of that, but hey, here, this is something that's really important to the family, we need to guard this time.
Okay.
So, the conversations evolve as our family grows and changes, for sure.
I love it. All right. So, besides ordering your book, give us one last challenge of something that you're like, hey, if you have one quiet moment, do this today or think about this today as we just want to head in with calm as the goal, connection as the goal. What's one thing we can do as we end this conversation?
There's so many things, but I really want people to walk away knowing that their joy is important. Their joy
Mm,
is important. I think too, like, how does God want me to feel during this season?
yeah.
This is about Him. This is about celebrating Jesus's birth. And if I'm not showing up genuinely joyful, I feel like I really have missed something. And that's not to say I'm going to show up joyful every day, every moment.
Right,
No.
right, right,
But
right.
there has to be some moments where we protect that. And the other thing is, and this is always the case when I'm working with women, you realize your kids are going to model what they see in their adult
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
So if you are inadvertently sending the message that, hey, your joy is not important and your job is to make everyone else happy, whether
Mm,
you're saying it or not, they're seeing it. So if you can show them what it looks like to be healthy during this time of year, enjoy your family, make time for yourself, they are going to carry that into
I
adulthood. It's
love that.
predictive
I love
behavior.
that.
So if your joy isn't motivation enough, know that this is far more powerful and
Yeah.
bigger than that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm glad to be married to Ron because he's just a fast no. No, no, we're not doing that. I was like,
Love it.
you can say no. So he's a great balance for me. And now, like you said, as we're getting older, I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't want to do that anyways. But before, 10 years
That's right.
ago, I would wanted to go to every party and not let someone down
Yes.
and show up. And he is so fast with his no. He's just like, I'm on the couch watching football. I'm like,
That's
okay.
beautiful. You
I'm
can't
like,
even get the
amazing.
sentence out, and
I know.
he has noted.
I know. But
Mm-mm.
you're not worried what so and so thinks about you or that
No,
he's like, not worried at all. 0.
I
0
love
fears.
it.
So amazing.
We
Hey,
all need to channel our inner Ron this
that's right.
season.
That's
That's
right.
what we need.
Hey, I'm so proud of you. I love seeing you on the Today Show, and I hope to
You.
see you next time I'm in the city. You're just phenomenal. Thanks
Thank
for being
you.
here.
Thank you, Courtney.
Take care.
Christian parenting.